Answer me this. Why did you give me the side eye over that particular fuckface?
I don't know.
I call you fuckface and worse, but it doesn't warrant a side eye. And that one really, like, you side eyed and stopped in your tracks.
I don't. That wasn't my intention. I guess it just happened.
So it did not hurt your feelings?
No.
All right. So the date is, let me get this, November 9th, 2021. This is the premier pro wrestling podcast with two grizzled, haggard, well-traveled, probably more traveled than anybody in the industry today, veterans, Casey James and myself. I'm going to say that even with the guys on top, including and not limited to Phil Brooks, 1CM Punk, who was with WWE for a long time and did as much as he possibly could, traveling the independents, working for idiots for nothing or next to nothing, but he never had that opportunity to work in a territory like I did, nor IWA Puerto Rico, where you stayed for 2 years.
It's the Rock and Randy podcast. I'm just a technical advisor and co-host. Not even a co-host.
All right, well,
you're the host.
Remember that. So, a couple of things I want to talk about, and we'll get to this later, and let's go ahead. This will be the teaser. I am going to set this for 12 minutes. We're going to stick to 12 minutes, and we're going to shut me up like within 1 minute. We're going to take it home when we hear the bell. I want to touch upon Michael Awesome. I saw something today, and there's this guy on YouTube, and you know what? F it. I'm going to go ahead and give them a shout out because I respect what they're doing. No one will ever give us a shout out, I'm sure. That's how it is today. What is this guy's name? Oh, no, I can't even give him a shout out. You don't even know how to do this, where you go to your YouTube and see what you listened to last, right?
Let me take a look. Keep talking and I'll find it.
This guy, he puts out a couple of things regarding, it's in a sense the history of a lot of things pro wrestling. And today he put out a damn close depiction of the career of Mike Awesome.
Really?
Yeah. Mike's last name. What's that referee that you loved from ECW? What was his name? Not Pee Wee, some other guy. Alfonso. I think Mike's name was Michael Anthony Alfonso. So really? I never knew Mike was an Italian. I mean, yes, I knew his name wasn't Awesome, but, you know, he was, let me see what you got there. No, man, you're in my watch later.
It's history. That's your history.
Oh, history?
Yeah, so scroll down.
Let's give these guys a shout out. Oh, my God, this was my playlist during my workout. I'll find it, though. Don't you worry. You were a fan for Mike Awesome, an ECW fan. Did you ever see the guy live for ECW? I know you dabbled in whatnot in ECW.
Yeah, I think I did. I don't remember.
You don't remember?
If I saw him live. If I did, it was
He was a top guy. Here it is. This guy's called, and a lot of people will like this. Maybe he'll reciprocate someday because he's got more subscribers than we do. Calls himself Original Wrestling Documentary. And he's got a lot of cool stuff on there, and sometimes I'll listen to it. But the one that popped out for me was Mike Awesome, because I was the first one to work with Mike Awesome back in Memphis when he broke in. And my first time down there in the territory. Yeah. But we'll get to that later in some of the others. And some of the other stuff, which is really cool stuff, and it's important stuff. At one point, Mike meant a shitload to the wrestling community, but also the internet wrestling community, and a shitload in Japan as the Gladiator.
Yeah, for Victor, I think, in Japan, maybe. Or FMW.
Yeah, off and on. He did work for FMW. What do you mean Victor when you say Victor? He was on the island too?
No,
we're going to get
Japan,
to that later. Hold your...
in Japan.
What are you doing there?
Just keep talking.
Hold it there, because after this, that's the teaser. That's the hook to get you to subscribe to Patreon, where you can get our full podcasts and a whole bunch of content too. But that's enough of a mention. Too much pimping is like carnival barkerish, and I don't want to do that in 2021. People don't respond to that, reply to that. So Let's briefly touch on what we just finished up with Premier Pro Wrestling and where we're going this week.
PPW Fully Charged.
Briefly,
Yeah. Big success.
Yeah.
We incredible matches.
Who comes
the two
up
main
with
events.
these incredible big taping names?
I don't know, Gianna?
I do.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I thought she did, no?
Yeah, Gianna comes up with it.
Well, she's booking the territory. Fully Charged, the two main events were incredible. The heavyweight title, Tim Castle challenging Sensei, 30 minutes, 2 out of 3 falls. 60-minute time limit, but they did 30. 2 out of 3 falls, incredible match.
Yeah, they're both coming
Very physical, very physical. If you like hard-hitting action, that's the match for you. That's worth the price of admission alone.
Go to our Facebook page. One of the fans described it perfectly, and let's see if I can pull that up while you describe the tag match. And briefly, don't beat a dead horse. Hammered shit doesn't get over today either. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Go ahead.
The main event, tag team titles, new champions once again. Jose Acosta and Ventura with Lulu Lorena defeated Mr. Electricity Chase Gosling, Mr. Wrestling Pancho, and I Ortiz. Incredible main event. The tag team titles, the tag team title landscape's really heating up here in PPW.
Yes.
You have Jesse Danger and Charlie Hustle, who were also victorious over Marcus the Science Smith, Tokyo Joe, and 0-2, nipping at the heels of the tag team champions.
So this guy's great, and let me look. Yeah, this is the guy. So this guy, I love this guy. This guy gets it, man. And of course he's a paisan, Ron Regano. I've seen him here 2 weeks ago. He said, yeah, I seen your ads on Facebook, and this time I clicked on it. I've been to a lot of garbage indie stuff, so I don't have high expectations. But I'm going to try this once. And if it's like the rest, you probably won't see me again. I'm like, well, sit back, dog. Mm-hmm. So after that one, which was the week before Fully Charged, brother says, you got a fan for life. and the stiff guy who I loved in the beginning, because I loved that he was a perfect candidate for us, sought me out afterwards and even hugged me. That's the way wrestling should be. So Ramagano says, Sunday after the results are posted, every match was entertaining. I had a great time once again. The Sensei Tim Castle match was like watching two future professionals wrestling. The tag team match was more entertaining with the additions of their managers. But anyway, this guy gets it, and that's what I'm going to say. Like, educated fan, casual fan, traditional fan, that's what's nice about Premier Pro Wrestling is you guys can all come together and see something that you like,
Absolutely.
So where are we going this week? This is a great concept. It's an easy concept card, but the way we've done it the past couple of years has just been outstanding, Casey.
Yeah, it'll be my first time for the King Kong Bundy Memorial Tournament, a one-night-only singles tournament for the King Kong Bundy Memorial Plaque.
Yes.
And I'm assuming probably number one contendership for the heavyweight championship. You'd have to figure that person would be going straight to the top.
Guess
if you're able to get through the entire roster, which the entire roster will be in this tournament. And the way you win is by 5 count.
5 count. That's what's cool about it. Back in the day, there were a lot of giants out there. There were no giants equivalent of King Kong Bundy. And I wish that I had done more research this week. Maybe I will next week. To see if the WrestleMania 2 Hogan Bundy outdrew dollar-wise WrestleMania 1, because that was an outstanding thing, and King Kong Bundy was a household name. There's a one-of-a-kind. He's a one-of-a-kind individual, and we don't commemorate his death. We commemorate his life, because he was a good friend of mine, and we do that once a year in November, the month of his birthday. I think his birthday was November 25th, where we do a tournament, and every match must be won by a 5 count, which makes your finishes to matches really interesting because it's hard to pin somebody for 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, that's going to be up on Patreon next week and also this Saturday night. If you're within earshot, come on out and see something that you've never seen before.
Yep, 5-count tournament matchup.
Yeah, king of the 5-count was King Kong Bundy.
Absolutely.
Did you ever meet Bundy when you were breaking in when he came in?
Yeah,
for me?
I worked Bundy for you in the 6-man.
Where at?
In Chicago. You ran a youth center downtown. You had 2 shots 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
God, where was that? That was kind of down by maybe Chicago Stadium, United Center, kind of in that hood.
Yeah, I remember.
Southwest side.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris was something. What was your impression?
But I mean, I had worked on a lot of shows because you brought Bundy in quite a bit. I know you brought him into Rockford.
Yeah.
And, a couple other shots.
The naval bases. I brought him in.
Yeah, the naval base too.
And then I would also try to get him booked for other companies that might be running at the same time too. Then, because you could get Chris a couple 3 shots to really make it worth his while. The man was so large. I had a '97 Expedition. You remember my Expedition, right?
Yeah.
The guy was uncomfortable in the goddamn thing in the front seat. You couldn't get a bigger car at the time.
Yeah.
This is before the Escalade's reinvention and all that shit. I mean, the guy was just a gigantic, larger-than-life individual, and he was just, he was not comfortable anywhere because of his size, except at home.
Yeah.
So, Mike Awesome, we've got a few more minutes. I was in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was brought in for a 3-day tryout, and I ended up staying for 9 months the first time in, and within the first couple of months, I learned how to work out of necessity at my weight, which is like 195 pounds, to keep a job there. And one of the things I would say it was a blessing and a curse was to get the new guys that came in on Saturdays at the fairgrounds. And that's what they would do, is take a look at that guy first on a Saturday. Never met the guy. Never talked to the guy, got the finish in the ring. And I looked across the ring and there was an effing dinosaur, and I'm not lying to you or exaggerating. When Mike Awesome broke in, he was 340 pounds. Legit, he was 6'6", 6'7". Yeah. Looked like a fucking dinosaur. And I'm like, holy shit. So our referee was the old timer named Frank Morrell, who cut his teeth and made his bones in the 50s and 60s in pro wrestling as the French Angel. I said, well, how long are we going? He gave me my time. And I said, hey, by the way, Frank, what's the finish? He goes, something called a power bomb. And I go, what's that? And he goes, I don't know, kid. I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah.
And that was my job. And look, we're coming up on this. That was my job. They hired this giant kid for peanuts, fresh out of Steve Kern's training facility. He might have had 1 or 2 matches, but they put him with me for the first month or 6 weeks, actually off and on for 8. But I had him for the first 4 to 6 weeks every night by myself. And my job was to loosen him up, smarten him up out there.
Power bomb every night?
So he could work with Lawler and not hurt him.
Did Lawler take the power bomb?
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, you've seen Lawler's backdrop, but
yeah.
Jerry the King Lawler would take these fucking huge high backdrops from Mike because Mike was so tall.
Lawler took phenomenal bumps.
All right, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1.
Like clockwork.
And that right there is the signal for the rest of this podcast, where we'll primarily talk about Mike Awesome, the Gladiator. Subscribe to our Patreon.